Staying warm today? Gosh, all the snow, all the cold. What a week. See a bunch of folks in the chat here. Welcome to Dadified. Thanks for joining us. If you're new, welcome. Please subscribe, obviously. But yeah, I do a lot of model railroad stuff, but my son and I also do quite a bit of chasing around the big boy. And that's the reason for the sweatshirt. Literally, just this morning, I had some errands I was running, and I literally drove to Union Pacific's headquarters, plugged the meter, went into the gift shop. These were just getting out of the boxes. I think I got the email about the new merch for the tour and everything. So yeah, nice and warm in my big boy sweatshirt. I like the flag in the background. I kind of used it for the photo for the live stream and such. But we've been talking about that a lot today. But really, anything you guys have in the chat, just go ahead and chime in. I already see a bunch of you in here. Tim and Corey and Rich and David and Aiden. EJ finally made it. Kisco Falls is in here. Del Hudson, what's up, buddy? Chooch is in here. Man, look at him. Will's in here. Harry's Model Trains, thanks for joining us. Johnny Diggins. Mick Chicken's in here again. Art even made it. Holy cow. It's funny because I feel like Art's usually waiting in our chats for Newt to show up, but I'm waiting for Art to show up in this case, so glad you guys could chime in and make it in here. Bill's in here. What's up, buddy? Barry the Rescue Guy. Hey, thanks for joining us. Yep, hope... it's funny because actually I think a few of you are able to join us because, whether it's work or school or whatever, you're at home today because everyone got snow but us. Yeah, I was able to drive downtown to headquarters, pick up the new hoodie, and come back here to get stuff set up for the live stream because there's not a speck of snow on the ground. It's just, there's a dusting still from a couple days ago. It's been very, very cold here. That seems to be, the Arctic blast didn't bring all snow, but it definitely brought all cold for you. Let me know what the temps are like where you guys are at. But I need to do a backup apparently on my computer. This poor laptop crashed on me like 2 minutes before the stream, so I hope it holds up. CCMF's in here too. Oh man, Noah's in here. Woohoo! Lots of snow in Ohio, according to McChicken. Badass in here. 17 degrees in Virginia. Whew! Negative 15 in Minnesota with 2 feet of snow. Jeez. What's up, B&O? How's it going, buddy? How's that Allegheny? Let's see. Happy to ship snow to us, 14 degrees where Tim's at. Yeah, I keep joking like everyone's complaining about snow. I feel like I'm the only person that wants snow that doesn't have it. They always say you will always want what you can't have or what you don't have. I'm a kind of guy that needs my seasons. Like, visiting tropical places and such is cool and warmer climates and such, but I couldn't live there. I need my spring, summer, fall and winter. I need all of that. I need the changes. Now, sometimes winter has overstayed its welcome, but we had a pretty mild, up until recently, we had a pretty mild January here. We had a little bit of snow in, I think, November, but that was all gone, and Christmas was just dead grass and bare trees and kind of lame looking. The most Christmassy looking stuff was inside our homes. And like when I did the elevated line over here, still done up in snow, but kind of sad to see all the Christmas stuff gone. I was, somebody was commenting on a video earlier, and I saw the Christmas lights and such up on the layout when I was responding to the comment. I'm like, man, it looks so nice up there with all the lights. Maybe I should do something more exciting for just like general decor up there. Negative 15 in Michigan. According to Aiden. Oh, good. Allegheny's still fantastic for B&O. If you guys ever follow him on Instagram and you see a 1601 Allegheny chugging around his line, that's the one that I did the cruise control upgrade here. And added the white pinstriping to the out. We did a bunch of work to that engine. It needed a little bit of TLC when I got it. But yeah, I'm glad we got it fixed up and running great, and I'm glad somebody's running it more than we were. Yeah, I knew it was going to be possible at some point, but train overload here on our O-gauge railroad was definitely a thing. But yeah, for a lot of you that follow me, you guys are in the Eastern time zone. Doesn't matter where you're at in the U.S., chime in, say hello. Actually, do chime in, let me know where you guys are at. But the big boy is big news this week. Yesterday, they announced the start of the Coast to Coast tour. Now, I'm not surprised they started by announcing the western portion of it. Not to downplay the importance of the West Coast or anything like that, but they did it 2 years ago. And that's like the Coast to Coast tour with this thing. The exciting part isn't what we already know Big Boy can do. The exciting part is where it's never been before. And it's never really been east of St. Louis. So really curious to see what trackage they end up doing. I suspect they'll be going through St. Louis. The archway and everything would be a really cool backdrop for Big Boy making its way across the Mississippi to head east into sort of uncharted territory. Union Pacific has ventured that far out before, maybe not all the way to the coast, but for those of you that were around in the 90s, or even alive in the 90s, as I'm realizing here, Union Pacific's Challenger 3985, back when that was doing excursion service, wore some Clinchfield stuff for the Santa train, and was operating on CSX lines. So that was quite the undertaking. They literally had guys, track crews out ahead, because on paper, it says the curves and clearances and all that are one thing, but the actual track conditions is something else. So in some cases, they literally had to make on-site adjustments, literally nudging the track left or right in order to accommodate the Challenger's wheelbase. And Challenger has more agreeable tolerances than the Big Boy. Challenger is a 4.664. The six sets of drivers, or rather the sets of drivers, you need to accommodate a whole nother set of drivers for Big Boy. And it can't quite articulate, despite what my Lion Master back here, or maybe your scale versions can do. It can't quite articulate as much as it does in model railroad format as it can in real life. So curious to see how stuff kind of works out here. I see Harris, wow, Big Rich is in Ventura, California. I had no idea. That's cool. I just kind of assumed everybody was East Coast and a couple Central Time Zoners. Cloverdale's in here. What's up? Another Noah. We got 6 feet of snow in Boston. Holy shnikes. That's a lot. Actually, I won't be able to talk with you guys next Tuesday because I will be on the East Coast. Not for a very fun reason, though. Usually when I visit the East Coast, it's for vacation or to go to York and see some of you guys at the O-Gauge train show. But my uncle passed away, and it's sad. It wasn't exactly expected. He wasn't a spring chicken by any means. But yeah, 71's a little early to call it quits. And he didn't exactly have things kind of lined up right. We think there's a will somewhere. We've got some stuff we need to do. And so my dad and I are traveling out to the East Coast to kind of have, boots on the ground, kind of take care of some things out that way. So yeah, I will be traveling unexpectedly next week, and if I'm able to do a live stream from the East Coast during the lunch hour, then I certainly will. But I'm not planning on it. I'm not. That's definitely secondary to what's going on. So it's again not a fun trip to make, and I obviously, if I can't jump on live, I think I'll still try and have something up on Tuesday for you guys. Got a few things that I could toss together. So yeah. Oh, thanks, Rich. Oh man, you guys are all. Captain Andy's in here too. Ray's in here. What's up, buddy? Maddie C. Wow. Thank you guys. Thanks everybody. That means a lot. I'm really glad we got to visit my uncle. Or rather, he came out and visited us when we did our big summer vacation out that way. I'm feeling really bad for baking that guy to death. I'm pretty sure I didn't cause it. But we rode. If you guys watched our vacation footage from last summer, then you know that we did a little bit of railroading. And we went on the Cog Railway. My dad and my wife and my son did that trip. That was a ton of fun. But a slightly less comfortable trip. It was like 104, and we were in a dome liner on the Conway Scenic Railroad with air conditioning that was made in the 1950s. So I think it was 88 under, like on the main floor of the car, and it was like 98 in the dome. And we were sweltering. Eventually, some of us made our way down below decks to get a 10-degree cool down. My uncle came with us on that trip. I'm sure he's thinking like, what a freaking idiot. Why did he plan that? It's an air-conditioned car. I figured, hey, let's get out of the heat and just go for a nice little ride. It'll be fine on the car. It was actually more comfortable outside, I think, because the air was moving. It was bad. Everyone was laughing about it later, but I felt terrible putting my family through that. Let's see, what did I miss? Thank you, Denise. Let's see, Mac Wolf's in here too. Big Boy 4014 should take the famous horseshoe curve in the East Coast. Yeah, so I guess kind of switching gears to what I assume many of you would like to talk about is trying to plot out where Big Boy is going. So, as of Monday, we only know the western portion, and the western portion of the trip has been done before. So that's nothing new. But once it goes east through Omaha, I guess it could skip Omaha, it could go further south and head into... I have a feeling it's going to go through St. Louis. But where it goes from there to the east, nothing's been announced. However, Mr. Ed Dickens of the Union Pacific's STEAM program has made some visits out east, and I wonder if it's more than just him visiting cool heritage railroads, and more so just kind of assessing places that Big Boy could potentially go. Because, again, boots on the ground is going to get the job done. If he's surveying out spots where Big Boy could go, then, or even if he's not specifically going to those spots, gaining some other expertise. I imagine if you went and visited the Beast from the East and found some trackage that thing can clear, you at least probably assume that it might be suitable for Big Boy. Or you could know, hey, it barely ekes through some of these spots just for the Beast from the East. Maybe don't try and push the envelope with the Big Boy. So let me know, everyone's gonna, want Big Boy to show up in their backyard. Everyone's gonna want it to be local and convenient. It's probably not going to travel through the branch line that goes through your backyard. I imagine it's probably not going to the northeast because, just traffic alone, that'd be a bit of a pain. But I imagine it's probably going to be going to, Virginia or something. Maybe even Washington, D.C. Man, wouldn't that be the most patriotic thing ever for celebrating America's 250th birthday by chugging the largest operational steam locomotive, not to the doors of the White House, obviously, but to Washington, D.C. That's the most American stop I can think of. The capital of the nation. So I have a feeling that's its target, but how it gets there and what trackage it uses to reach that point, I mean, you could try and go as direct as possible, but also it may not be able to. Not just because of track clearance, but it may not be able to because of just limitations of the designs of tracks and bridge loads and stuff like that. Big Boy weighs as much as a jumbo jet, folks. I know in model railroading especially, like, it seems like sometimes when I mention Big Boy, like, everyone's talking about Big Boy. They freaking should. It's a big deal. It's huge. It's gigantic. It's nothing to just shrug off. And the fact that they're going through the trouble to take it out east is pretty special. If you've seen Big Boy at Scranton, you may have even seen it moving because they recently moved it from kind of that display track out front. They moved it onto the turntable and everything. I think there was like live footage. Ray was telling me about that. And yeah, if you've seen Big Boy move before, wait till you see it under steam. It's incredible. Even if it's just chugging up to like a display point, that's fine. But seeing this thing working at speed, I'm not saying, hey, everybody go out and pace the train, because they kind of discourage that sort of thing. But also, with the amount of work that this is going to take, who knows when they'll do this again. EJ was editing a rant video. All right, well, it seems like it's your namesake, so that makes sense. All right, will be cool to send Big Boy into Grand Central Station. Wills Oscale says, I don't know that even if it could fit on trackage to get to Grand Central, I don't know that they could clear up enough of the traffic to be able to say, hey, just chug a steamer in here. Although, when was the last time a steam engine was in Grand Central Station? Been a hot minute. Oh man, I'm missing so much. Let's see. You mean Big Boy won't be going to Montauk, New York? That's not coast to coast. Yeah, again, I think everyone's wish list would be make it as close as possible to get to me. But the fact that it's going to the coast means that it's going to be closer than ever, maybe ever, for some of you guys. So, oh, Brother James is in here. Great. So yeah, I would, whenever they announce the plans. Now, I can pull up the email, in case you guys didn't already see the announcement. We know when it starts, but a lot of folks haven't talked about when it ends. So right from the Steam Club email, I always have questions from folks asking, how do I figure out the schedule? I mean, aside from just a simple Google, Union Pacific does these excursions, so start on Union Pacific's website. up.com/heritage/steam will get you a lot of answers real quick. Union Pacific will join the nation in celebrating 250 years of American independence and innovation this year with its first ever coast-to-coast steam tour led by the legendary Big Boy 4014. The first leg of the tour starts Sunday, March 29th, where it departs Cheyenne in Wyoming. That's where it's kept, in case you didn't know. We went and saw it at Depot Days last year. I wonder if Depot Days is even going to be a thing this year, because it's usually like in April or May. I suppose they still could. The first leg of the tour ends Friday, April 24th. So it's out there on the west for about a month. And that makes sense because it departs on the 29th and it doesn't get to Roseville until April 10th and 11th. And then coming back another 7 days to get to Ogden. And then on April 19th, 18th and 19th. And then wrapping up the tour on April 24th back in Cheyenne. So I suppose they still could do Depot Days in kind of mid-May, I think is when they had it last year. Depot Days is when they open up the steam shops and you can go in and check everything out. Now, the other interesting bit about the announcement, there will not be any passenger excursions. Those tickets are like $2,000 a seat anyways. It's mostly a fundraiser for like the UP Museum and stuff like that, which is great. But I don't have $2,000 for a ticket. The world's largest, blah, 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 where is it? joined by 2 commemorative locomotives, including the railroad's newest locomotive, 1776, America 250. So they're making a heritage diesel engine for America 250, but they mentioned that it's going with 2 commemorative locomotives. Now, at first I thought, oh man, does that mean that the other locomotive is 844? But it said commemorative, and 844 unfortunately doesn't really fit that description. I imagine the second locomotive that they've announced here is the 1616, the Abraham Lincoln. And plus, that kind of goes in line with the whole reason they made that paint job on that engine in the first place, was Abraham Lincoln essentially created the transcontinental railroad idea. There was trackage obviously all on the east already, but completing that link from California to Omaha, that was the task of the Central Pacific and the Union Pacific, where they met at Promontory Summit. So I think it'd be very fitting to have the Abraham Lincoln locomotive joining 1776, because man, you got America 250, you got Abraham Lincoln, who essentially created the Union Pacific in the first place, and made the charter to do the transcontinental railroad thing. But then also I think it'd be fitting for that engine to again make its way out east. That'd be really cool to have 1616 in DC. Just kind of fitting. But that also kind of pours cold water on my hopes and dreams of 844 making its way back out there. Because when we saw 844 in the steam shops last year for Depot Days, that was my son's first time seeing that locomotive in person. And my first time in a while. They had stuff in the cab. They were already making the adjustments in the cab to add positive train control, or PTC, to the cab of that locomotive. And I was hoping that that was because they were going to double head and do stuff with 4014 and do something like that. Because in 2019, Union Pacific's 844 and 4014 double headed for their 150th anniversary of the Transcontinental Railroad. I'm gonna go back to the chat. Who's getting the Allegheny? Man, I've missed a lot while I've been talking, haven't I? I'm trying not to be like the Lionel stream where they just ignore everybody. But I'm glad everybody else is chiming in here. Let's see, what have I missed though? Oh, they're talking about... You guys are literally just talking about O-Gauge on the side while I geek out about Big Boy's plans here. Dr. Farmer Knight says, I'm considering the Polar Express Big Boy. What are your thoughts on it not having whistle steam? I wasn't planning on purchasing a Big Boy for my next locomotive, but the Polar Express color scheme is very tempting. Oh, dude, Jim Gam totally needs to... We totally need to have 4014 make its way to Scranton to go visit its older brother at Steamtown. That would be cool. But to answer your question, Farmer Knight, I mean, no Lion Chief 2.0 or Lion Chief Plus 2.0 locomotive has ever had whistle steam. I suppose you could add the feature, but it's also because Lion Chief 2.0 does not have quilling whistles, because it's essentially TMCC, the original command control system for Lionel. It just has Bluetooth and some other controls and such, but it lacks the information to be able to communicate with the bass, to be able to say, do a quillable whistle, do the up and down with a doo or whatever. That was lame. So could they have added whistle steam and just had it be like without the quilling feature? Yes, but I'm not heartbroken about Big Boy missing whistle steam, because when I had it before, it wasn't bad. But Big Boy is one of those locomotives you can kind of skip whistle steam on, because the smokestack is so close to where the whistle is. When you're stopped and you hit the whistle, yeah, you can see the steam going up on its own, but it's still kind of next to the stack steam. And when you're moving and you hit the whistle, you definitely don't notice. I mean, if it's jetting up straight, like my Lion Master Challenger has whistle steam, and when it's moving and I hit the whistle, you can kind of tell that there's an extra stream kind of going up and through and over the top of where the smokestack smoke is coming from, but you don't really notice it. So the fact that it doesn't have whistle steam, I think a lot of people just don't understand what Lion Chief Plus 2.0 is. It's essentially TMCC, which again doesn't have quilling whistles, and no TMCC locomotives ever had whistle steam. So could you add whistle steam to it? You just wouldn't have the quilling feature. Yeah, because they did it on the Big Boy 4011 in the 2010 catalog. But the T1 duplex that was in that catalog, you notice the whistle steam because the whistle's back here and the smokestack's up here. So you can see two separate locations for steam. Whereas again on Big Boy, scale or Lion Master or otherwise, you don't really notice that. So I don't think it's a big loss. The design of Big Boy makes it hard to see that whistle steam anyways. So not a huge loss for me. I see people always saying, oh man, how come it isn't Legacy? I'm pretty certain that the Lion Master line is never going to go back to Legacy. It's pretty much going to remain in Lion Chief Plus 2.0. Because they started out with TMCC, they went up to Legacy, and then I don't know if people just weren't buying them or what. If you guys were in the hobby when Lion Master was kind of in its Legacy Prime state, I mean, shoot, I see enough scale snobs that are poo-pooing on the Lion Master stuff anyways. Was that still the case back then? And that's why they kind of dialed things back to Lion Chief Plus 2.0? Because, yeah, I was looking at the cost on things, and even though things have gone up in price over the years, they're like, well, yeah, the Lion Master Big Boy isn't that different in price now as it was back then. It's just gone up because of inflation and such. But it did have legacy control for a couple of those releases. So it has, someone pointed out, it kind of has dialed back a little bit. I still think it's a great price for something that big, for everything that you're getting with this thing. I mean, shoot, I did this last time, but if you missed it, hi, I'm Dadified. I'm a big train nerd, and I do stuff with my son, and we love everything, but we really love Big Boy. But the sound file for Big Boy, I don't ever really want to, like, quill it anyways, because when you hit Big Boy's whistle, you pretty much just want... I'm not really ever going to quill that. I'm just going to lay on it. I mean, I guess you could like, you can kind of, like, vary it a little bit. Oh, man, if you guys see... Ed Dickens' whistle technique is really fun to watch if you ever see a video of him in the cab of 4014. But yeah, I mean, sitting still, you would notice the whistle steam going straight up. But when this thing's moving and the rest of the stack smoke is going, you're not going to notice that. Because it's literally, the whistle's here, the smokestack is here. It's like quarter of an inch away. Let's see, my train room's in here. What's up, Don? I'm kind of assuming it'll go through Omaha on its way east. If nothing else, to kind of retrace the original Transcontinental Railroad. Would be something if 4014 can somehow meet 611 or 765 during its eastern trip. Exactly, Maddie. Maddie C makes a great point, and something that, again, I don't think it was coincidence that Ed Dickens was visiting, 611 and stuff like that. I don't think that was for funsies. It's probably business related. It's probably... I can't say because I don't know. This chat is all over the place, Jim Gam. Yes. I mean, most of my regular followers are here for the 3-rail super prototypical trains. But I also recognize that Big Boy is a big topic, and that enough happened this week to warrant talking about it. To kind of circle back to back to big boy talk, but still also make it relevant for O-Gauge for these fun 3-rail Lionel trains. This is a big reason why I think the Lionmaster Big Boy is a big deal in the Lionel 2026 catalog. Because in the same way that everyone's going to have a chance really to see this thing, a reasonable chance to see this thing in operation this year, this is a big boy that everybody can run, whether you've got 072 curves or not. So the fact that it's in the catalog, and if you guys saw, oh man, Ray and Del and Stu and Art and all my friends that were at the that were out east for I think it was Amherst. They sent pictures and shared pictures, and Ray has a great video of the like the engineering prototypes that Lionel has for things that are in their new catalog. The pilot deck on Big Boy 4014 is absolutely fantastic, and that seems like a small thing for most of you, but for anyone in semi-scale, the pilot deck has always been actually, to Rail King's credit, the pilot deck looks a little bit better on the Rail King version, details-wise, with the railings and such, than it ever did on the Lionmaster version. The Lionmaster version has these big 2 die-cast radiators that are molded right into the pilot deck, and then it's got the handlebars going over the tops. That's fine if it's an older big boy, but 4014 doesn't have the radiators up top anymore. And literally, if like I couldn't tell from the catalog, but if you look at the engineering prototypes, not only did they essentially use the brass railings, I think from the scale big boy, because it's got all the details in there, but they even redid the same thing for the ones with the radiators. So if you get the Polar Express version, you're still getting a nicer looking pilot deck than I have on mine. If you're getting 4008, it's going to have the radiator tooling. It's all brass. The tooling on the top end of the pilot deck. If you're getting 4024, the hot dog, the 49er scheme, that's going to have the radiator mounted up front instead. They even included that detail, and that's something I expected them to leave off. They literally put the radiators ahead of the shield that's on the pilot. That's a detail that I did on my own Big Boy 4023. I did not expect them to do this. The tooling on the tender for the oil tender for 4014 looks great. It's going to have a gloss finish, which is going to look fantastic. Mine's got the matte finish. That's fine. I wonder if they're going to go through the trouble and paint silver on all of the bearing caps on there. I did that on mine. It wasn't very hard to do. And if you're getting the Lionmaster Big Boy in 4014 and it doesn't have those painted in, it's real simple to do. Literally just get like a silver Sharpie or a silver paint pen and you can just color those in and it looks fantastic. It really helps bring extra detail to that locomotive. Sleeves is in here. What's up, buddy? Oh yeah, Sleeves did the Woodside Reefer Challenge is back for 2026, and he did his Mikado, his 07, that Sunset brass models, just beautiful. So I'm tempted to do the Woodside Reefer Challenge with my Great Northern, with my N3. Yep. James has the Vision Line 4014 Excursion and 4021. Interesting. Does 4021 have a different paint scheme other than the black? Like, is it like the Greyhound version or something like that? Let me know. I forget which one that one had. Trains are trains no matter the size, CCMF says. Yeah, I gotta agree. Wow, 62 of you guys in here. That's fantastic. If you guys haven't had a chance to leave a like, as long as I've deserved it, please do. Thank you for everyone for joining. Ray's Amherst video is excellent. Chooch couldn't agree more. I don't even know if Ray's still in here, but it doesn't matter. I'm not just doing it to make him blush live. Oh, he is still in here. Good. I just had to scroll down a little bit more. Will we... Oh, more people in the chat. Jeez, I got to go back up. Shoot. I can't keep up. Guys, if I missed something, say it again. I'm so sorry. I've even put Daphne to sleep. Pilot Drummer says, Mike, are you going to order any of these new Lion Master Big Boys? Yes, but it's still undecided which one I'm going to get. I got plenty of time to figure it out, but one of those is coming here. I know we've got 2 big boys, and the last time I had 3 big boys, I sold one. But here's the thing. 4014, we kind of have to have. I mean, look at this. 4023, I made out of our big boy 4006. There's no way in hell I'm ever getting rid of that one. So we've got our 2 most important big boys. My son loves 4014. I do too. But I really like 4023 because it's on display in Omaha. So adding a third one, because we had 4011, and it was cool. But then it's like, they're all black. So I'm almost certainly getting a fantasy version. I'm not going to get the restoration version. That'd be cool, but I've already got 4014 here, even though it's slightly different. For me, my son is leaning more towards the Polar Express version. I'm leaning more towards the 49er scheme, the hot dog. The Polar Express version, we were putting away our Christmas stuff. And he's like, Dad, we could run these cars with if we got the Polar Express Big Boy. Like, yes, we could, but what are we doing with these cars right now? Putting them away. Like, yeah. Is the Polar Express Big Boy something you want to run year-round? Can we? And then it got me thinking, it's like, shoot, do I really need to be a curmudgeon enough to say, we can't get Polar Express Big Boy because we're only going to run it, 2 or 3 months out of the year? The look on his face when he realized that if we got the Polar Express Big Boy and would have to put it away for Christmas was soul-crushing. I don't know if I'm willing to be that much of a curmudgeon just to be like, well, it's a Christmas decoration, so it's got to go away. Sorry, son. What kind of a dad would I be? But he also was excited about the 49er, the hot dog, because he's always talking about that. I'm like, hey, maybe they'll come back out with a hot dog challenger and Lion Master if they do a Lion Master Challenger Lion Chief Plus 2.0. That'd be fun, but we've already got 3 challengers now. So, I don't know. We're having a hard time deciding between those 2. Gold Standard says hot dog is... That is true. Gold Standards, I did give you $10 on your live stream because you bet that I would be getting one. And I was certain at that point that I would be. But when we were putting those Christmas decorations again, it was just soul-crushing seeing him even think about having to put away a Polar Express Big Boy. I love how much he loves these. Did you guys know the last several days that we've had school was called off on Friday because it was literally a high of -10. So it was just too dangerously cold to ask kids to go to school. We didn't even have snow. They just closed schools for it being that freaking cold. But so I was working Friday and Saturday, and every day I came home, there were different trains on the line. And he was showing me like, Dad, this is what we did. And look, I showed Mom how to use the Cab 1L. And so we had 2 remotes going and we were doing trains together. He was showing Mom how to do trains and he was changing them here on the line. I'm not saying he's not done that before, but not to the extent that he did this weekend. So it's really fun seeing him. Kids go through phases sometimes. And, he does trains with me, but he usually doesn't do them when I'm not home. Usually it's a me and him kind of deal. But he knows how to work all this stuff, and he's getting better at it, and he's getting more comfortable with it. And he's now to the point where he took our cab forward. That was on the line here a bit ago. We had Santa Fe on the line with the silver streamliners, and then I noticed he had taken the Meteor out of the tunnel and was pulling them with that. He's done a bunch of cool things that I wouldn't normally do because I'm a history buff, so it's gotta look prototypical. Kids are way more cool than we are. Steam Rail Willie's in here. What's up, buddy? If it's your layout, you can run whatever trains you want year-round. Yep, that's a good point, Jim Gam. Gold Standard says no backsies. I mean, You can still win the bet, and I can still back out of it. I'm not going to ask for the $10 back, buddy. Bernard says, heck with that. It's your railroad. Do what makes you happy. Have a Polar Express summer. Yeah. I mean, we could do Christmas in July running sessions. Corey agrees. How cold was it? Yeah, it was like, I think the high that day without wind chill was like 5. We didn't get snow, but we got cold. Like, we had space heaters going on in the house. Every crack anywhere in the house you could just feel cold air just trying to get in. It was bad. Did Art give you the program so you can make those controller holders for us? Yes and no. It's not the same design as this one. Maybe it's the type of plastic that he used to make them. But my buddy printed one out for me, and it already broke. So maybe he just needs, or maybe there was a problem with printing or whatever. But one of these little arms, the little clips up here, already broke on it. So yeah, just ask Art to make more. Let's see. Mike, what standard is your club's O-gauge modular layout? Will, I mean, they've got 072 on the outer ring, and I think it's 060 on the inner ring. But I don't know enough about the modular stuff to know, like, the standard or know, like, how they designed it. It works. Steamroller Willie's trying to save for the Lion Master Big Boy. Yep. Let's see. Oh, thanks for joining us, Jim. Thanks for coming in. Oh, man, we're already at hour 45, essentially. Any ideas on American Freedom Train 250 T1? Are you talking about the Reading and Northern T1s? Yeah, or just Reading T1. I don't know exactly how the Freedom Train works with that. So one is restored cosmetically, and there's one that's getting restored like to be able to run, I think. That'd be really cool if Big Boy could meet up with them. That'd be really cool. Gary Zoscale says, my grandkids want the big train station with Christmas lights. I'll have to leave it up year-round. Yep. At the end of the day, if you got kids that are into trains, any sort of prototypical plans that we have, yeah, they go by the wayside. They can. My new hoodie's nice and warm. And it's got 4014 all inside. You can order these online if you want to, on Union Pacific's website. Or you can just stroll on over to HQ like I did and pick one up. The gal there knows me by name. Tell me you have a problem without telling me. The people at the store know me by name. Howdy, Great Northern Videos. Sorry, Great North. I keep saying Great Northern. But what's up, buddy? They're the ones that gave us the Hot Wheels Lion Chief engine that my son likes running. I'm surprised I haven't seen that running this week. But we also have like 25 engines, so he's got a lot to choose from right now. What's official, Rail Chief? What'd I miss? Oh, Chooch says, NMRA modular standards allow modules from any layout to work with each other. I would assume that our club layout is designed to that standard. But again, I don't know, because the one that's in the club, even though it's modular, is kind of their old modular layout that just stays in the club like year-round. They have modules that they move instead. That's kind of their traveling thing. So I imagine that one's up to NMRA standards. Why not use the 484T1 that's running now? Because they don't want to repaint it to look like the Freedom Train. Will Zoscale says, I'm thinking about doing something similar to what Dell had with his levels on my future layout. What do you think is essential to have on a layout? Like to have on the layout? Like features-wise, like scenery and such, or buildings or whatever, I don't know, like, to me, layout essentials depend on how much space you have to work with. I would have loved to do a roundhouse. Where the heck am I going to put that? I don't have room for any sort of a roundhouse. We have room for some switches. We have room for a storage bat cave, but not room for a roundhouse. So, yeah, kind of can't make that a standard if you can't fit it. Train stations are nice. Ours is dusty right now. But small, but it's a platform. It's better than nothing. These Menards ones are really nice because the edge of it and the bottom base line up with each other. So you could buy like 3 of these and have a longer platform. Now, granted, you'd have all the same people on all 3 of those, but you could probably switch it up. But they're easy enough to remove and change out and make it unique. Gold Standard says, my kids are the opposite. It's gonna look real. Argued with them to leave the Flying Dutchman on the layout for now. Oh, wow. So your kids want things to look like they do in real life. Interesting. Usually it's the kids that reel us back into just having fun with it, and it's the adults trying to make everything look realistic. I always think of like make it my life's goal not to be the main bad guy in the Lego movie, because he wants to crazy glue everything, and he wants everything to be in its place and look like it's supposed to and done by the instructions and blah, blah, blah. And then all the cool, fun kids just want to master build everything. It's so funny. My nephew, like, oh yeah, I master built that. Master building to kids just means I did it without instructions. But spend a little more time on it. Because a lot of his master built stuff structurally doesn't tend to stand up. Some of his best master builds are just built on existing Lego sets, especially like the robots. Like, you got to get the hinges and the arms and joints and everything right. And that's kind of something that's hard to master build. You need those parts. And then just add on cool weapons and stuff from there. Back from swearing at my base 3 and WTIU. I wonder if it's because both are in the same environment, but I haven't had any issues with our base 3. It's working fantastic. What sort of issues are you having? Let me know. See, we have a 8x12. What is essential things that I should have in the track plan? I always have some sort of sidings made in the track plan. Reversing loops are something that are definitely possible with way less of a wiring nightmare than like HO or something like that. So reversing loops are kind of neat to be able to maximize space. We just did a single track the whole way around, but that's been helpful because it's essentially a gigantic dog bone loop, so we can run multiple inches. That's the one thing that I found. Like, my buddy Don's layout has reversing loops, but it means that you got to be careful when you're running trains, because sometimes they could be on the same single line, headed for disaster. So sidings, a station. I always think, especially if you're doing 3 rail trains, if you're going to have sidings, have some operating tracks built into the sidings to be able to do like unloading cars and stuff like that, because that's always fun to do. And unfortunately, because the K-line remote control thing never really caught on, I heard from somebody the reason it didn't catch on is because they broke all the time. And I can kind of see that. The few that we have that work just keep working, and every now and then they jam, but you can usually clear a jam. But I've definitely picked up ones that just flat out don't work. So yeah, because not everything is remote controlled, you got to have operating tracks someplace, because we're still in the 1950s. Because Lionel hasn't done Bluetooth operating controls. I'm sure it's, more cost effective for them to sell the operating track in case you want to make your operating car operate. They'd rather it not just work through a remote or an app. But I still think that's a big thing that they're missing out on. Oh yeah, Steamroll Willie says definitely wouldn't be able to fit a scale Cheyenne Depot roundhouse kind of deal. Oh, are we back? Did I do something? Mr. Freeze strikes again. I don't know. Let's see. Did we actually recover? Yeah! Suck it, internet. We got it. Woo! I was sweating bullets there for a second. Now, I don't know why I got interrupted. Thank you guys for chiming in. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. But then I saw the spinning wheel of doom here on the left. Yes! Guess who's back? Back again. Big boy's back. Tell a friend. The only words I know from that song. You want a refund, Bill? Well, good. We're back. I can actually issue it to you. Yay! That almost never happens. Usually, we can get the spinny wheel of death. Then there's no coming back from it. But yay! All right. You know what? Whatever questions I didn't answer before. Mike drinking vodka. Yes. No. This is just straight Everclear. No. Whatever I missed in the chat before, especially since I have a wall of "we're back." Glad you guys are excited about that. Yeah. Let's knock out any more questions you guys have, whether it's about O-gauge trains, about the big boy tour, speculation, stuff like that. I really want 844. 844 has been the ambassador for Steam for so long. I know Big Boy 4014 has stolen the spotlight for quite a while now. It's like 844's only claim to fame is that it's never been retired. That's oh cool, it's Union Pacific's excursion engine. All right. It's a big excursion engine. Like, Big Boy is big, don't get me wrong, but 844 is fast. If you guys saw our speed video on calculating speed, like a super ghetto way to click a spacebar on here, that was a fun video to make. And also a bit of a quiet response to stuff that happened last week. I'm really glad it seemed like it got handled. Let's just say some things were said last week that, Dadified or otherwise, you just shouldn't say about people. To the point where it raised enough red flags to it wasn't on Joker's stream, but the fact that Zach even reached out and said something about it speaks worlds of his character. I know now why Eric's Trains has Joker as a moderator on his stream. That's a guy that has he knows what should and shouldn't fly. There's no gray area. I'm grateful that he reached out about that, and that stuff was taken care of. I don't want to say names or get into things or whatever. I don't want to draw any more attention to it. If you're on Discord, you probably already know about all that stuff. I am not on Discord. Kind of okay with that. Not even anything against Discord. I've just got enough things that I try and keep track of with Facebook Messenger and Instagram and texts from friends that I know. There's enough things, enough ways that people can connect with me. I don't need another avenue. And especially when Discord seems to have more unhinged attitudes on there. If I'm missing something, people will tell me. And in this case, I was missing something, and they did tell me, and that was an interesting week. Spike Man's in here. Hey, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Oh, man, 4 minutes till we crack the hour mark. I don't know. Whoa! Doors Trains ordered the 2 that I'm thinking of getting. Might have missed what you were thinking about. No, you didn't miss it because you just did what I can't get two big boys from the catalog when I already have two here. That's like a fast track to divorce, or at least a therapy. Polar Express one would be really cool. 49er one would be really cool. I think we could pull the 49er, have these cars behind it too. I still don't know. I don't have to do the decision right now anyways. You can wait till the end of February when they close orders. Steamer Willie asks, if you could have any locomotive made into O-gauge, what would it be and what type of control system? Gosh, we've got a lot. There's already a bunch of trains that we have. I would really like to see them make a new 10-wheeler design. I talked about this last week, I think, and I forget the name of it already. Somebody in the chat mentioned it, but an older style 10-wheeler design that we could replicate. Because the things that I like to do in model railroading is have stuff that we've seen or have ties to. And so the engines that we have, like the Big Boy 4023 means a lot to me. So we made one. Challenger 3977 is here in Nebraska. So we got one. Thanks, Art and Del and Ray. T1 Duplex is my favorite aesthetic locomotive design of all time. So we've got one. And they're making a new one. I've got, not by accident, I've got the Daylight on here because this thing's going to the West Coast first. It'd be really cool to see Big Boy and Daylight team up, but I don't think Daylight's going out on the main line again. I think they're purchasing the short line near them to be able to run that on. But yeah, the days of Daylight on main lines, unfortunately, seems like they're behind us. That's not fair. That's not fun. I got back into this too late. I didn't know that Daylight was flying around here. But yeah, I'd like them to make a new 10-wheeler design to be able to do some other types of designs. And yeah, obviously Lionel Legacy. Because then you'd get whistle steam, or at least a quilling whistle. Or none of that if it's a if it's the American 440 type. Jeremy, it's not worth losing half your collection. What are you talking about? Let's see. Or you can see if they don't want to sell and get it cheaper. Oh, what if they see if the big boys don't sell? No, I already know if the big boys will sell or not. There's actually right now, if you're looking for Big Boy 4012, there was one for like $600 on eBay, the Lion Chief Plus 2.0 version. Still a great engine. It's not Legacy. It's fine. If you want a big boy, I have not seen one priced that cheap in a while. So check the description to make sure that it's not a complete phony baloney. But yeah, holy cow. Oh, New York Central 686 turbine. That'd be cool. How far east is Big Boy gonna come? I hope to reunite it at 4012. Yes. They haven't said, but very, very good chance that it's going at least to DC area. Which way it gets to DC is another thing. But we'll know more probably in April or May. I'm thinking April we're going to have an announcement with the East Coast tour. I wouldn't be surprised if they're still trying to figure out where it's going. I wouldn't be surprised if they still don't exactly know where it's going at this point. Steamer Willie says the 49er could pull the yellow cars, but I would need to get a set of hot dog passenger cars. Yeah, so the 49er scheme, that brown and red and yellow, the Lionel versions, like I saw Eric's Trains did a quick shot of his Hiawatha that's done up in the 49er scheme. And that brown is just way too light colored. It's like cappuccino brown. It's not like chocolate brown. And those are 18-inch cars if I remember right. So those would fit around here. But then the alternative is Rail King made two things. They made 49er cars that are like the old school gray Pullman style that are this size, the size that I really like. But I don't think that those would look good with a traditional 49er scheme. And then they made the 12-inch size, the smaller size that I really don't like running here. They're just too small for this area. They did in like the hot dog color scheme. So I think if we did get the 49er version, I wouldn't bother with getting the bespoke 49er scheme cars for it. I think I would just run these. I sure hope Big Boy can reunite with 4012. Yeah, that seems to be the overriding just kind of sentiment in general. When will the 4014-2026 schedule be released? Derek asks. They already released the first half going west. But again, I don't think they're going to announce the other, because also they don't want to overshadow the West Coast portion of it, because everybody is waiting for the East Coast portion of it to be announced, because that's the route that it's never done. So yeah, when it leaves Cheyenne, it's going to be out for a while, probably through most of the summer. So if it's coming back end of April to Cheyenne, make adjustments, resupply, all that fun stuff. These cars are stored in Council Bluffs, Iowa, right across the river from me. So it likely will have to come back to Omaha to pick these cars up to do an excursion. That'd be cool if they did an excursion with UP execs leaving Omaha, heading east to go sign the things to finish the Norfolk Southern thing. I'm kidding. I don't want to ruffle those feathers. I suppose this trip could potentially be maybe not political, but be a business thing too. I don't know. I just like the trains. Mike, I'm working on a rare Pennsylvania Railroad 686 turbine to a USRA style. Oh, you're making your own. That's really cool, Spike Man. Center headlight won't light up because it's an old version. Just get, you can just wire off a track power for a headlight. You don't have to have it like directional or tie it into something. You can totally do that. Weaver made a scale 49er. Oh, and they made scale 49er cars. How big would those 49er cars be for Weaver? I'm curious, Uncle Salty. Also, welcome. I don't think I saw you in here earlier. Do you have the RBP ES44? No, because it won't fit. But we do have the, we've got a steam engine, and then somewhere in here is, oh, I think his switcher is in the tunnel, actually. We've got the legacy switcher, and we've got the legacy steam engine. We just don't have the legacy modern diesel. A, because I don't really run modern diesels, and B, because, again, it won't fit around these rails. Can the base 3 support multiple remotes, and if so, do they need to be on their own channel or all at the same time? No, absolutely not a noob question. We've got two Cab 1Ls running through one base 3. I can walk to my local club and use my Cab 1L there. I don't have to like log in or set it or anything. I can just control my engine. I can also control someone else's engine if I'm being a real jerk. But no, I can control. It just has to be within range of a base and it'll work, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, I think. For clubs, maybe not such a good thing. But yeah, the base 3, as long as you got a Cab 3 app, a Cab 1L, or a Cab 2 remote, as long as you're within range of the base, you can use them. I don't know what the limit is for remotes, if there is a limit. I think it's up to 10. It's either 10 or 5 apps can be signed into to utilize the base 3 for control. Hope that answers your question. No matter how much I like the 49er scheme, I could never buy it because I can't stand the football team. Oh, that's all right, Harry. You don't have to. I mean, it's not exactly the 49ers scheme, though. Like, it's got red in it, but they don't have any brown in their jersey, so You could just keep calling it the hot dog and not call it the 49er because everyone just seems to call it the hot dog. Who coined that? Has it been called that for ages and I didn't know, or did RBP coin that, or what? I don't know when they started being called the hot dog. My son still, even when he saw the hot dog big boy, he's like, hot dog challenger. I mean, big boy. Oh, also, we made it past the hour mark. Thanks, everybody. You're worth it. You guys are always worth it. The ES44 runs on 048. Then it really doesn't run on 048, then, does it? Oh, yeah, the train works, but you can't have anything hooked up to it. Not even interested. They are, 20-inch cars. Oof. We'll do 048, but they probably won't. Well, that's the other thing. I need to redesign the elevated line for the 40th time. Yeah, probably not going to do 20-inch cars around here. 18 inches, about as close as I want to get around here. Aiden says, 64 minutes to be exact. Thanks, Aiden. Big Rich also hates the 49er. Wow. I mean, so the one thing that I would have done differently, the one thing that honestly would put it over the edge if I were getting the 49er, the hot dog, I don't want to trigger San Francisco haters. The one thing that I would have done different on it, and also on the Greyhound, anytime you have a passenger service Challenger, so like the Greyhound Challengers, they have the smoke shields on the sides. A friend of mine named Ben, different Ben than you're probably all thinking, but Ben has a Greyhound big boy from the 2019 release with the yellow stripe instead of the silver stripe like the one in this catalog has. And he's like, hey, I saw you added smoke shields to your older Greyhound Challenger. Where did you get those? So I sent him the part number to go on Lionel's website and parts website and find the smoke shields for the scale Challenger. The scale smoke shields fit on the semi-scale Challengers. And the semi-scale smoke shields are the same size as the scale ones. So, it's not scale. I'm just so tired of the scale versus semi-scale thing. Just let people enjoy trains. And in our case, enjoy both. I do have scale trains, as evidenced by the video that I made last Friday. And we love running them. But I really wish that the Greyhound Big Boy and the 49er Big Boy had smoke shields on them. That would have, I would have skipped the even entertaining the idea of the Polar Express Big Boy if the 49er one had the smoke shields on it. Instead, they just kind of painted the crest on the sides of the smoke box. It's cool, but I like that the smoke shields change the look of the front end pretty drastically. And Big Boy 4014 even wore smoke shields briefly on its way to Denver last year. I'm pretty sure they just found the ones from Challenger 3985 sitting in the back of the Steam shop. But yeah, would have been cool if they had included those on these models. That would have put it over the edge for me. I would have ordered the 49er already if it had smoke shields included with it. Now, okay, let me ask you guys. Oh, hi ELW, thanks for joining us. Lionel and colors aren't always in line with each other. I ordered Vision Line Challenger smoke shields and put them on my Lion Master TMCC Challenger. And the grays are close enough. They fit. The yellow stripe definitely fits. They made a Vision Line 49er Challenger. Could I order the shields from that Vision Line Challenger and put them on the Big Boy 49er scheme? Would that work? Would the browns be the same? That's what I'm doubting. The yellow and the red are probably the same, but the brown color, that would be the kicker. That would be really, really, really cool. I don't know. Does anyone know? I mean, we can't because we don't know what colors they're going to actually make because it's Lionel. RBP might have coined the hot dog challenger. Cool. I miss that guy. It's nice staying in touch with him, but I miss like seeing his videos on a more regular basis. I'm always happy to see his stuff because he does a good job. His presentation's fantastic. His editing and all that stuff. All like the videos about trains are fine, but I'm also a creator, and so I really latch on to enjoy things that are well produced because I try and make stuff that's of a nice caliber, so we can really highlight the subject matter, the trains, and not be distracted by lazy editing. I try my best, and he's one of the ones that I try to emulate editing wise. I don't have the same tools he does, but I try and make mine look as polished as his because I feel like it's a good standard. Eric Strains does a fantastic job too, obviously. I'm going to play Train Simulator 3 with an SP coal train. Ooh, does that mean it's cab forward? We just ran our cab forward the other day. Bill Ian says, hey, Dadified, love your channel. Thank you. My 4-year-old son, Thomas, wants to know if you can run a diesel and water car train behind your big boy like the real 4014. We've got a water car. I just need a second one. But I don't have a diesel to go with it. Now, my buddy Art has this same 4014, and he also has a Lion Chief Plus 2.0. I think it's an ET or ES44. I don't know the names of diesels. I'm really bad with that. But I know he has a Lion Chief Plus 2.0 version, and he could run it with his. I just can't remember if he has or not. I probably need to message him. I don't have a modern diesel, though, to run with this guy, so unfortunately I can't do that for you, buddy. But I have double-headed Big Boy 4014 with our 844, and that's more fun, I think. It would be a gearing thing that I'd need to check into, too, with the diesels. But actually, we have done double-heading with this with my F3s, my Lion Chief Plus 2.0 F3s. That was fun. Will says, who do you think knows the most about Reading and Northern? Dell and Ray know quite a bit. Let's see. DJ Mike. Okay. Hey, thanks for being for the Big Boy video. I think Lion Master is my go-to line after you explained its big presence and smaller layouts. This 2026 Big Boy will be my first Lion Master. What should be the next Steam? That's a great question. And I mean, get what you like. If you like for us, we like to run things that we have ties to. So a lot of Midwest and Western stuff because of where we're located. So it's hard to recommend like stuff specifically. If you're looking for stuff that I can recommend in the Lion Master line, literally any of them. Challengers are fantastic. Our cab forward is magnificent. The T1 duplexes, the older TMCC ones have a little bit of a shudder when they start because I forget the reason why, but it's like an old TMCC excuse. The Class A is fantastic too. Yeah, really any Lion Master. I haven't had issues really with any of them. Not big ones at least. Oh, my dog's dreaming about running because her feet are moving. That's adorable. But yeah, if you want more big steam, the Lion Master way is a good way to do it while still keeping things down a little bit. If you got 048 turns, you can get away with big steam still. The Prairies, the 2662s will run on 048. The Northerns, the Daylight and like Santa Fe Northerns and such will run on 048, even though they're listed for 054 or 060. I really like the older K-Line stuff, but the electronics are a little more dated. We've got our K-Line Daylight back here. So yeah, just depends on what you like. What did I mess up here? Oh, no, that was his question. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the compliment, Will. I appreciate that. Oh, Sleeves is out. Thanks for joining us for your lunch break, buddy. Speaking of water cars, which water car should I get for the Lion Master Big Boy? I saw one that was like $500, which seems crazy. We've got a Rail King water tender. It still has nice separately applied details up top and the ladders as well, and even the brake handle over here. They're die cast, so they're very robust. They're very nice. And this is the type of water tenders that they run the behind the Big Boy in excursion service. And this yellow will match Rail King cars, obviously, that pair nicely with it size-wise, and details-wise, too. I've seen these anywhere from $250 to really anything under $200 is a good price for one of these because they are die-cast. They're a little on the heavier side. But I have seen some for much cheaper. Like, I think Dell helped me find one for $100. The Greyhound one that I have. They even make an all-black version of this. That'd be cool for running freight. But if you're trying to emulate the excursion train, these are a good one to have. The scale-size ones aren't bad, and you might be looking at one of those. They're an auxiliary water tender, but they're also, like, sound as well, which is probably why they're expensive. These don't have any sound or anything. You just run them. They're nice and heavy. Again, nice details on them. Put a little Dadified logo on the back of mine. But yeah, so that's what I would run with Lion Master Big Boy. The scale ones will work, but the deck is taller than it is on the tender, and that's where you start to kind of run into that doesn't look quite right kind of deals. Mike, Big Rich says, I have 2 water tenders for sale, yellow or black one. Are you talking about the scale size ones or the semi-scale like Rail King ones like I have? I really want an 060 Lion Chi 2.0, but they're hard to come by. Good news, they're doing another run of those. You can still, I think, pre-order them from websites and such, but they'll be back on the market. They're not impossible to find, and they're a pretty decent price. Let's see. What's the restoration scheme? Not fantasy. I saw Dell in here on that. Hey, buddy. Let's see. Dell, I know it's the accurate version. It's still a fantasy for me adding it to my collection because I can't afford it. It's not fantasy scheme. It's fantasy like I'll never be able to get it. A man can dream, though. Oh, Trainmaster Challenge is in here. You're not late. You're just on time. It's fine. There's no like attendance requirement here, but I'm glad you're here. Oh, I can add. There we go. All right, Dell. You've been upgraded as a standard moderator for the channel. So next time Ray and Newt are going at it, you can break up the fight. But also, you're kind of like a standard to have as like a moderator. Like, I think I've seen you moderator for other channels. I think Nick's Crossing. But yeah, Steam Rail Willie says full scale is too big, and I think he's speaking from experience. I think he's got a full scale one. They're really cool looking, but they're just... The Big Boy in Lion Master is a big engine, but the thing that they've scaled down the most, if you look at my side-by-side photos and videos that I've done of them with the JLC Big Boy and the Lion Master, where you really notice it is the tender. And so when you hook up a scale-size tender to the Big Boy, the Lion Master Big Boy, when the auxiliary tender is starting to dwarf the tender of the locomotive, that's when it starts to... that doesn't look quite right. So that's why I like these Rail King ones. And they're a whole lot cheaper. I've done the Rail King one with scale cars behind it. We have, again, a black version of these. And I I think it only came in like a Rail King set for Big Boy. But so we have a black one of these that'll hook Big Boy up to our Atlas Premier passenger cars, our 18-inch cars. And this is a nice gap between those cars, and it's the same height too, as those cars to the Big Boy. It's a really nice consist. I like running them like that. How much money do I have to pay for 3 Rails 4 Dads to do 2 streams a month, I think you mean? Maybe not 2 steams. We haven't done a custom run Steam engine. It's not even money. There's 4 of us with admittedly busy schedules. And so getting us together for 1 week a month, or one show a month is difficult. And then also trying to get a guest on there as well. For a lot of our shows, we have a guest that's typically on with the 4 of us. So now you have to get 5 schedules to align. Once a month is enough. It would be obviously more fun to do more shows with you guys, with the live stream crew. But we've already got plenty of them in here. So if you got questions for Del or Ray or Art and you're on my stream, you can probably ask them in there. It's like, maybe I should get like the StreamYard software so that way if they want to jump in, we can kind of have like a diet version of 3 Rails 4 Dads. If you don't know what I'm talking about, shameless plug time. I'm part of a live stream team that meets every month. It's called 3 Rails 4 Dads, because we do O-Gauge trains, which have 3 rails. And there are 4 of us. Art's model trains, Del Hudson, Ray's trains, and this dork that you're watching right now. So the 4 of us meet up every month to talk about stuff that's relevant in the O-Gauge world, whether it's catalog stuff or new things that are arriving or train shows or interviewing somebody else that's in the O-Gauge world. We've had Eric's Trains on and RBP on accident and RJ and Kisco Falls and a whole bunch of folks. JD Stucks, shoot, I can't name all of them because we've had so many great guests on the show. D.A. Griffin has been on in the background a couple times. Stu usually makes an appearance every now and then from Metka. Lots and lots of fun. If you miss those shows live, watch the replays. The replays are just as, maybe not as fun. It is fun being live with you guys, but the replays are a good time too. So check those out and subscribe to 3 Rails 4 Dads if you haven't already, because I am completely flummoxed as to how that show has not hit 1,000 subscribers yet after 2 years of doing it now, in our 3rd season now. Tons of fun. Dale's going to test out his moderator powers on Ray. I've created a monster. I recently watched your video about the York train show. We are new to model trains. What's the big deal about York compared to other shows? Bill, that's a great question. And I thought that question myself when I was also getting into O-Gauge. There are lots of cool train shows out there. There's Amherst and Allentown and Greenberg and all these other train shows everywhere. York is kind of the mecca for O-Gauge. I'm not saying it's all O-Gauge, because there is N and HO and other stuff there, but it's more like, hey, if you're into O-Gauge and you also happen to collect other scales, there are a few other things there for you, but it's mostly an O-Gauge show. I can't remember, someone explained to me why it's been primarily O-Gauge. I think it just had to do with the organizers that set it up. But yeah, it's a huge show for O-Gauge, and it's a huge show for O-Gauge guys to attend, so it ends up being quite the social gathering. I've gone out of my way 3 times now to go to York, Pennsylvania to see you guys. It's not an easy trip to make, not a quick trip to make, but yeah, it's a great way to meet folks in the hobby, especially since it tends to be a magnet for a lot of folks in the hobby, and there's a lot of O-Gauge stuff to go through. Post-war, modern, everything in between. Even Lion Masters, folks. B&O wants to be a guest on the show? Sure. We're about to, I think Thursday, we're going to try and decide what order to kind of do guests and such, because there's a backlog of folks that have all said that they want to be on the show and we'd love to have. And there's folks that have done the show that say, hey, let's do it again. All right, put them back in the queue. So yeah, we'll be deciding on stuff like that. See who we can, and that's not even a matter of who we can get on, it's how we can coordinate some of that stuff too. Live stream team, assemble! Ray killed a guy with a hand grenade. I saw that. Johnny Diggins says, I'm saving money for the Union Pacific Big Boy 4014 DCC with sound. I imagine that's HO then. Cool. Buddy of mine has a 4014 in HO. Not only is 4014 like the excursion version, but it even has like details on the top of the tender that have PTC on there. That has like the little white box with some cords and such, and like there's like a hose or something that's up there for refueling. That was cool. I like that detail. Let's see. Got to open some air cans. What for? To dust everything off? I use air cans, can to air constantly, not just to clean, but to wake up smoke units. Will says, Del or Ray, do you know how much Grzybowski's wants for the Lion Master Big Boy? Grzybowski's had a Lion Master Big Boy 4012 for 3 whopping days, and then it was sold. See, if I ever get invited to go onto the show, that means they finally ran out of guests. Yeah, it's there's definitely a backlog of folks, and it's not that we're trying to get high profile folks only, but it definitely helps with viewership when like, oh hey, a guest is on that I also follow. So I'm not saying it's a popularity contest, but sometimes it kind of sort of seems like it is. We try not to be. Open air cars. Oh wait, what's open air? Oh, didn't they just release some MTH open air cars? I'm gonna wrap up here, guys. I'm almost to an hour and a half. Yeah, the open air cars look really nice. That's a really cool thing that they're doing there. But yeah, Jerry Blomquist says, I have 4014 in N scale, Athearn with sound and a tsunami decoder. Very nice. I haven't seen a 4014 in N yet, but I'm told somebody at my club brings theirs and runs theirs on a little N scale layout that they have available there. They have scales for everything at the club that I'm in, so it's always neat to see the different variations thereof. I have not seen a G-scale Big Boy, but I don't think it'll clear the curves that are on that layout. You actually need like a gigantic space to run G-scale. You need an equally gigantic space to run a Big Boy in G-scale. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us. If you got more questions, if you're watching this after the fact, leave them in the comments of this video down below. I always try and get to that stuff later. It's been a fun couple days this week with the news for Big Boy, with the West Coast portion of the Coast to Coast tour. I'll have more as I find out more on that, and will obviously be not just following the Big Boy in real life, but having some fun with our O-Gauge version here. As always, leave a like, a comment on this video if you've seen it after the fact. Thank you everybody for joining live. I love doing these with you guys. It's so much fun to connect with you in here. Yeah, we'll see you guys all on the next one.